Hello and welcome to the Astrology Forecast. My name is Sage, here as your eye into the sky, letting you know what the cosmic events are for the week, why they matter, and how you can use this information in your everyday life. I hope everybody enjoyed a calm and integrative week last week, as I know we had a lot of events, cosmic events, happening at the beginning of January, but we did kind of have a calmer end of January. Now, all of that is going to change in February, but again, that is another reason why last week there were no cosmic events, and so I didn't have any forecasts to report. But we are back and ready to go for the month of February. If you are listening to this, we are in the first week of February right now. Happy Aquarius season again to all my Aquarians. Special reminder, again, I am offering 50% off of Aquarius solar return chart readings. That is just basically a birthday reading. A birthday reading can tell you what you can expect between one birthday to the next. And so if you or a loved one is celebrating a birthday this month and you are looking to get a better insight into what you can expect for the next 12 months, definitely go ahead, hit the link below and book a solar return chart reading. Again, gift certificates are available if you are looking to gift this to a loved one. And of course, as always, I am going to remind everybody that I am co-hosting a stargazing retreat out in Utah this summer. It's going to be July 31st through August 5th. I am co-hosting that with Soulflower Yoga and Wellness. So excited about this trip. Way more information on my Instagram. And if you are looking to join us this summer, early bird pricing does end this Friday, February 9th at 9 p.m. So definitely make sure you get on that. And if you are interested and you would like more information, hit the link below and you will be guided to the registration form. All right, last but not least, I do want to let everybody know that this week is a major Aquarius week. So just a quick tip for this forecast. I want you to look at where you have Aquarius in your birth chart. I'm talking about what house, what area of your chart. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, these are the houses. There are these pie slivers in your chart. Hope that made sense. And that is going to be where a majority of the energetic focus is going to be for you. On top of that, everything I'm talking about today is going to be centered around that Aquarius house. So if you're not sure where you have Aquarius in your birth chart, go ahead, pause this video, go to your birth chart, find your Aquarius house. If you aren't really certain on the houses, as I know a lot of us are not, simply go ahead and either Google it or DM me. I'd be happy to help answer any questions you have as far as house placements and where you have Aquarius in your chart. So without further ado, let's dive right in. The first cosmic event that we have for the week is actually happening on Monday, February 5th. This is Mercury entering into Aquarius. Now, Mercury has been in Capricorn since the very beginning of 2024. This was an amazing chance for us to organize our life, get our foundation solid for the new year. Now that Mercury is moving into Aquarius, the vibe is shifting, right? And it's becoming a little bit more elevated. Capricorn is the sign of business and structure and stability. It's all of the matrixy things that keep our society going. Aquarius jumps in and it's like, let's push the envelope. Let's do something different. I don't want to stick to the same old status quo. I want to push against the grain. I want to see how we can advance what it is that we're doing. So, Mercury is the planet of communication. Mercury is everything involving our mouth and our mind. Mercury is all about our talking, our speaking, our listening, our learning, our teaching capabilities. This is what Mercury rules over. When we look at where Mercury's hanging out in our chart, more often than not, that is where our mind is being preoccupied. This is another reason why I said to please look at where you have Aquarius, because this is going to be where a majority of your focus and where your mind is going to be for the next month. Quick piece of reflection, since you probably have already checked out your chart by now, look at where you have Capricorn. That's going to be the house following right before Aquarius. That's actually where Mercury's been for the last month. So again, this is a great time to reflect. has my mind been on the themes involving this house? Again, every single person's birth chart is going to be a bit different. And so it's best to understand your individual chart. Again, if you're not sure about your chart, you just want more guidance, I do offer personal readings. Link is below if you want to schedule one of those. Now, understand that Mercury again deals with everything that we're talking about, thinking about, learning about. Mercury entering Aquarius is an amazing opportunity to expand our perspective. Aquarius is a fixed air sign. Now, just right off the bat, air signs deal with talking, right? And most of us understand that the element of air deals over that concept of communication, right? It's all about energy exchange. Our words travel through the air. Now, being a fixed air sign, this means that we are much more solid and I hate to say stubborn, but we're definitely fixed in our thought processes, right? In Aquarius, we are very focused on what we believe to be true. Now, at the same time, Aquarius loves to push past what's normally been done. I always like to say that Capricorn builds the box and then Aquarius steps outside of the box. Both of these signs are ruled by Saturn, but the way that this energy comes through is vastly different. Now, Mercury in Aquarius is going to expand the way we think about things. It's going to take our solid understanding of something and just basically expand it or push it that much further. It's going to make our perspective a bit more broad and also very well might include others in our consideration of things. Understand that air signs deal with the social aspect of life, and having it be in Aquarius, Mercury being in Aquarius, this is the sign of humanity. Aquarius is known to be the freedom seeker, the revolutionary, the humanitarian. A lot of people say that Aquarius is the detached sign. You've probably heard me say that. That's not necessarily untrue. It totally is true. But I think another word we could replace detached with would be separate. Because while Aquarius is very much for the people, very much for the greater cause, the greater mission, it doesn't necessarily want to be included in the masses, right? It wants to be separate. I always like to say Aquarius wants to save the world, not necessarily be a part of the world. Now, Mercury being in Aquarius, this is actually pretty big. And this is also pretty big because Mercury is going to be conjoining Pluto. Now, we've done a lot of talk about Pluto. I'm not going to go in depth on that. I have other forecasts you can look back and listen to on that. Pluto has just entered Aquarius. This is going to be a 20-year cycle. This is a long time we're going to have Pluto in this sign. It will move back to Capricorn later this year, but that's just a short blip. Majority of the time for the next 20 years, after this year especially, we are only going to see Pluto in Aquarius. Now, right now, Pluto just entered Aquarius. It is literally at 0 degrees. And so every single planet that enters Aquarius is going to come face to face with Pluto as soon as they enter the sign. Now, again, this has not happened since the late 18th century. Like, again, the late 18th century. I had to pause on that because it is so wild that we are living through this moment of history where we're experiencing things that haven't been experienced for 267 years. And so, really understand that when Mercury and Pluto conjoin together, this is going to unearth a lot of truth. Pluto is the sign of unearthing the things that live beneath the surface and need to come up for air. Pluto is the god of the underworld. This is literally the the planet that rules over everything that is hidden from society. But the thing with Pluto is it rules over transformation. So don't you worry. Anything that Pluto comes in contact with, it will bring it up from the surface. Right? It's going to unearth. It's like excavating the things that have been buried deep below. And this is on a societal level. And it's going to bring it up. And it's, of course, going to incite some fears, some cause for doubt, some paranoia. These are common things we see with Pluto influence. But Pluto's also here to transform. It's taking those negative things that it's unearthing and it's basically transforming them and regenerating them so that way they can be made into something even better. Now, Mercury, again, is all about communication. It's information, it's knowledge. When it conjoins Pluto, expect the unexpected when it comes to learning deeper truths. I wouldn't be surprised if in the media we have some major expose or some information get leaked that has been hidden from society for a very long time. And all of a sudden, it's become common knowledge, right? Because Aquarius is the sign of the common people. So having this energy of Pluto being in Aquarius with Mercury joining in is like, you know what, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about the things that need to be spoken of. Let's go and let's dive deeper on what we thought was true and really get to the bottom of things. This is like the detective sleuth, right? Sherlock Holmes. If you watch any of those true crime shows, like Mercury conjunct Pluto is like your ultimate detective. This is the CIA agent, the FBI agent, whatever it is, that's going to go and do the dirty work. Yes, it can get scary. So understand that this whole week, I want to make this clear. This whole week, this is the forecast from February 4th all the way until the 11th, we will have Pluto and Mercury conjunct. This means that expect information to come to the surface this week. Expect hidden truths and understand that Aquarius is a fixed sign, and fixed signs mean that we can get fixated on things. And so there can be a degree of obsession related to whatever topics or pieces of information come up into our awareness. And so be conscious of that, be aware of that, learn to work with this energy. Right now, we have a lot of positive direct energy, which is ripe for taking action. Fun fact, actually, we have 0 planets retrograde right now, which means that we have all the ability, all the cosmic support to really move forward with a lot less roadblock. It's kind of like that full steam ahead. And this is actually going to be in effect all the way until April 1st. So we've got a solid 2 months of just pure direct cosmic energy. But let's talk about 3 ways we can really work with Mercury being in Aquarius. Understand that Mercury will only be conjunct Pluto for the first week of its time through Aquarius. Mercury is going to be in Aquarius all the way until February 23rd. And so we do have 2 weeks where that energy with Pluto has dissipated. So we're going to look at the overall picture of Mercury being in Aquarius, but we will also talk a lot about the energy this week as it is a weekly forecast. Again, if you don't know where you have Aquarius in your chart, this is the time to go check that out. That way you know how to apply what I'm about to say to your individual life and your experience in whatever area of the chart this is affecting. All right, so let's dive into 3 ways that you can work with Mercury being in Aquarius. The first way I would recommend is to expand your information, expand what you know, your knowledge on things. Again, Mercury is all about learning, it's about teaching. It is simply the planet of information exchange. And so, being in the sign of Aquarius, we are really expanding upon that which we are curious about. There's a huge curiosity to having Mercury in Aquarius. If you think about it, Aquarius is the sign of the water bearer. And while the water bearer is pouring out the water onto the masses, again, the humanitarian sign, the water bearer is also pouring out the water from that pitcher because, truth be told, it wants to know what's at the bottom of the pitcher. This is a common trait we see with Aquarius energy is there is a need to know more, right? There's a real pull towards information, towards research, towards getting to the bottom of things and understanding the truth behind such matters. And so Mercury being in Aquarius, this is prime energy for really getting your glasses on, for rolling up your sleeves and diving into a book, diving into that PubMed article you've been wanting to read, showing up to that lecture, expanding your mind. Again, Aquarius is kind of that loftier perspective. If we look at nature, Aquarius is the water bearer. And what in nature bears water other than a cloud? And if we look at the positioning of clouds, clouds are simply above us, right? They are the utmost, highest perch we can see things from. And so this is another reason why Aquarius is known to have a much more broad, lofty, kind of that bird's eye view perspective that a lot of us love and appreciate from Aquarians. If you have Aquarius people in your life, you probably look to them for their perspective in some ways because they somehow just think about things a little bit different. And so really look while Mercury is in Aquarius to expand your own perspective. It's actually beautiful towards the end of this week, around like the 9th, 10th, actually right around the new moon. We're actually going to have Mercury forming a square with Jupiter and Taurus. Now, squares aren't always positive, but don't you worry about that because Jupiter is going to completely make this a much more positive influence. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Jupiter is all about luck and abundance. And so this is actually really great for positive thinking and optimism. And so pair that with expanding one's knowledge or information. Specifically look at where you can expand your knowledge on topics related to the house you have Aquarius in. Again, this varies for every single person depending on your rising sign. This might involve your finances, your children, your spouse, your career, your home life. There's a lot of different areas of the chart. Knowing where you have Aquarius is telling you where you can do the most expansion of information, of thinking in that area of your life. All right, the second way to work with this energy is to be prepared for information to come to the surface. Be prepared for hidden knowledge to come into light. This is characteristic of Pluto energy. When Mercury is conjunct Pluto, especially this first week of this conjunction, expecting the unexpected is probable here. Understand that Pluto is the god of the underworld, and yes, Pluto will encourage Mercury to keep digging, to drudge up what was once hidden. It's funny because Mercury is also the trickster of the solar system. Mercury tends to do a lot of things that we weren't really ready for because Mercury just simply moves so quickly that it's hard to keep up, right? So it's tricking us before we even see it for ourselves. Having this conjunction with Pluto this week in particular, be ready for those truths to kind of double up on themselves. Like, whoa, I thought it was like this. And then I found out that that was a lie. And that lie was based off of another lie, right? And so this can be very well the case this week. So I say this to arm yourself, right? I say this because the purpose of these forecasts is so that way you have the greater awareness, the foresight to know what you can potentially expect. Now, again, this is going to vary for every single person. Checking out where you have this Aquarius energy present will tell you more than likely where you can expect shocking revelations to come to light. All right, and number three, the third way to really work with Mercury being in Aquarius is to look into the tech and digital side of things. Tap into the tech space. I say this because Aquarius is the sign of futuristic technology. It is all about digitalizing things and, uploading speeds and gigabytes and all that stuff is so Aquarian that really this is the opportunity to dive deeper into that. Again, Aquarius loves a good topic to research. Mercury is all about learning and researching and studying and teaching and talking. Again, all these mercurial type of activities. And so looking into how you can tap into the tech space, the digital space, the online space in a mercurial way. So this can look like speaking in front of the camera. This can look like writing a blog post, maybe starting a new social media account, creating an advertisement for your brand, right? Again, all of these things that maybe you're already doing, the encouragement here is to do them in a more techy way. Get online, get digitalized. Again, the old school way of doing things may not be in the future. And so catch up, right? Get ahead of things, get ahead of the trend. Pluto's in Aquarius, which we already know means for the next 20 years, we're seeing a massive revolution when it comes to technology, the AI space. I actually just saw today that Apple came out with that Vision Pro. Of course, it came out with this during Aquarius season, right as Pluto entered Aquarius. I kid you not. I sent the post to Shane. I'm like, and so it begins. Like, this is exactly what we discussed even last year when we looked at Pluto entering Aquarius. And so Mercury joining with Pluto and entering Aquarius for this next couple of weeks, expect to be way more plugged in online. This can look again like you doing any sort of talking on social media, maybe learning from somebody on social media, going to take a class where it's lecture based and you're having conversations with peers and classmates. Whatever that looks like for you, especially if it involves the online space, maybe an online course or even just reading an ebook. The biggest recommendation is to take all these mercurial activities, reading, writing, speaking, and learning, and put them in the online tech digital space. All right, so let's dive into the second cosmic event of this week happening on Friday, February 9th. This is the new moon in Aquarius. Now, new moons are an extra special time because not only are the sun and moon together in the same zodiac sign, but this is also marking the beginning of a new lunar cycle. If it was up to me and probably a lot of other astrologers, this would actually mark the beginning of the month. There's a reason why the word month derives from the word moon. I'll just leave it at that. So the sun and moon together in Aquarius. This is a ripe opportunity to dive into all Aquarian topics, especially looking at where you have Aquarius in your chart. Again, I sound like a broken record, but it is for a big reason. If you don't know where you have Aquarius in your chart, then the information I'm sharing is going to be a lot more general and less specific. It's way more fun to work with astrology when you know your specific chart and you can see how this is directly showing up in your life. Now, again, Sun and Moon conjunct, this is an awesome opportunity to see our conscious mind, the Sun, in collaboration with our subconscious mind, the Moon. I actually heard an astrologer, Austin Coppock, one of my favorite astrologers, made this really great analogy that I want to share with you guys because it's a really great interpretation of a new moon. Again, as we know, the Sun and Moon are together in the same sign. That's what marks a new moon. And the way he described it is basically once a month, we have the Sun and Moon getting together for their monthly operations meeting where they're going to discuss the upcoming month and what to be expected and what to navigate and what's coming up for us. And this happens every single month in a different sign. So once a year, the Sun and Moon come together in the sign of Aquarius for their yearly meeting, right? It's kind of like an annual review. This is also why new moons mark the time when we can plant seeds, set intentions, create new goals. That's because, again, it is marking an energetic new cycle. New moons are a dark sky. It's a blank canvas. We are literally looking at something that we can simply create on. There's no other light being shined. This is our opportunity to be the one in the driver's seat, to be the painter painting on this canvas. I absolutely love new moons for this reason. Now, this particular new moon on Friday, February 9th, is a bit more volatile than other ones. Reason being is this new moon is actually forming a much more challenging relationship with the planet Uranus, which is in the sign of Taurus. Now, again, if you want to really go deep on astrology, look at where you have Taurus in your birth chart. Look at where you have Aquarius, as both of these houses are actually going to get activated on this new moon. And if you don't want to go that deep, it is okay too. But the whole point I'm making here, Uranus is the sign of, I always call it the WTF planet. It's totally the planet that delivers the most shocking surprises. It's the planet of freedom, innovation, liberation, and it can be a bit disruptive. And so, again, we have a new moon, which for the first time in a long time in Aquarius is also co present with Pluto, right? That's also something to be thinking about during this time, that Pluto energy isn't going anywhere. In fact, we're probably going to feel Pluto's influence all throughout the Aquarius season, more than ever, naturally, because this is the first time Pluto's been here, one of the first times. And so now we have Uranus, again, forming a not so great relationship with this new moon. Both the sun and the moon are in square with Uranus. This simply shows us that this new moon can bring some changeable qualities, some maybe even volatile qualities, definitely a very disruptive energy. And I don't say that to scare you all. I say that because expecting the unexpected is what is to be expected. And so really take note of changes that start to come into light. Looking at how you can be okay with things being a little bit different. This is really the theme we're seeing for this new moon in Aquarius. So let's look at 3 ways that you can work with this new moon in Aquarius energy. The first thing I recommend is to set intellectual and social goals. This is because Aquarius is both an intellectual as well as a social sign. It's fixed air. Air signs deal with society, and fixed signs are often a much more solid presence because they're a little less changeable. They're much more stable. And so, again, this represents all of humanity. And of course, Aquarius is also the sign that deals with social interaction. I know Aquarius does get a reputation of being a bit of a loner, but at the same time, Aquarius is the sign of friendship. It is the sign of connections and social connections. And so this new moon, we have both the sun and the moon together in Aquarius, which means that we are really tapping into that social and intellectual energy. Fun fact, actually, Aquarius is said to be the most intellectual sign of the zodiac. Not to take anything away from all of the other signs, but the fact that Aquarius is an air sign, a lot of people get it confused with a water sign because it is the water bearer. It begins with the word aqua, right? I know, I was same way. I used to think Aquarius was a water sign until I learned astrology. But it actually is an air sign, and the reason why is because it represents the water that's in the air. And as we know, that water in the air is what allows electricity to flow. And so Aquarius is actually the sign that actually technically deals with electricity and the ether. And we know that the ether is where thoughts and vibrations travel through. And again, I'm kind of going a little deep down this hole here with Aquarius, but it's really cool to understand that Aquarius basically has like an antenna to the cosmos, to source energy, to all the downloads that basically come from above, right? Because everybody, when we look for answers, we look up. Aquarius is the cloud; it's above all of us, and so it receives those downloads first, pretty much. And this is why Aquarius tends to have these wacky, far out ideas that later down the road become truth, because it's almost like Aquarius can see into the future a bit better than the rest of us. Total side note, I digress, but setting these intellectual and social goals, this is an amazing opportunity during the new moon. New moons bring together both the conscious and the subconscious mind. And in the sign of Aquarius, we're dealing with an intellectual sign, but the moon is still present, the moon is emotional. And so this particular new moon really merges both the heart and the head. And so the heart is, of course, those social connections, while the head is those more intellectual ones. So setting intentions around those two parts of your life, your experience, especially in whatever house you have Aquarius in, can be an amazing chance to work with this cosmic energy in a much more supportive way. The second way I recommend working with this new moon energy is to be open to new ways of doing things. In Aquarius, being a fixed sign, it's more often likely that we can get very stuck in our ways. Even though Aquarius is very innovative, it loves, ingenuity, it loves seeing things into the future. At the same time, it's still a fixed sign that can oftentimes get very stuck in what it believes. Now, with Uranus being in the mix, right? Uranus is kind of coming in to shake things up. The square that the new moon's forming with Uranus is really amplifying our ability to see things in a different light and to look at how maybe things can be different than they've normally been. We might find that we're getting inspired by unique and different ideas that we never had before. Maybe those goals that we're setting, we realize that they're kind of the same old goals we've been doing, and let's step outside of the box even more. Aquarius loves that. And in fact, let's go even beyond the box. Let's completely change up everything, and just do things totally different, right? This can be very shocking to some people. This is why Uranus is known as the planet of shock factor, because, yeah, doing things differently, doing things that you've never done before, it can raise a lot of eyebrows. And so this is the new moon where it's likely that eyebrows will be raised, that people will kind of be giving that side eye, like, what are you doing? That is so weird or different or unlike you. That's okay, right? If that's the reaction you get, know that you are in alignment with this energy, because when we have Uranus, when we have Aquarius, we're dealing with things that are not traditional. And so be open to non traditional thoughts and new ways of thinking. Again, Mercury is still in the mix here. So thinking, and not only that, but also feeling, right? The moon is present. So now not only are we thinking about things that are different, but we're feeling different. This is like emotional innovation at its finest. And so seeking new ways to process your emotions, to work through them, to connect with other people through both that heart and head connection. This is really what we're experiencing during the new moon in Aquarius. So be open to change, be open to uniqueness, be open to that more eccentric way of doing things. All right, last but not least, the third way to work with the new moon in Aquarius is to do your research. Put on those glasses, get behind the computer, hop into the library, whatever it is for you, do your research. This is because, of course, Aquarius is fixed air. It gives us the ability to listen longer, think longer, speak longer. Fixed signs give us a much more long-term ability to continuously, it's that repetitiveness, right? Continuously keep doing something. In an air sign, we can keep learning, we can keep talking, we can keep thinking. And of course, research involves all of this. And so, again, look at where this new moon is showing up in your chart, and whatever area of life this involves. Maybe it's your children, or it's your career, or it's your health. Do your research. This is an amazing opportunity to expand your knowledge, which we've already talked about, to broaden your perspective, but also to go deep on the things that you care about. The moon is all about that which nurtures us. The moon wants us to feel good because it's the planet of feeling. The luminary, I know it's not a planet, don't come at me, but it certainly is that energy of wanting to feel what makes us feel good, to learn about what makes us feel good. And so do your research. It's a new moon. New moons are all about setting new intentions, new lunar energy. And so doing the prep work is really what new moons are about, right? We're not quite taking action on new moons besides setting those intentions and basically laying the groundwork for what's to come. So take time intellectually and emotionally to lay that groundwork, do the preparatory work, research, learn about whatever you need to learn about. So that way, when you set things into motion, as all new moons do, you're doing so from a place of knowledge and intelligence and understanding, which of course is going to lead to an ultimately better outcome. Now you might be questioning, okay, well, Sage, when am I going to see the outcome? Some people say you'll see it around the full moon, which will happen later into February. I actually believe that you'll really see it 6 months later. I don't think 2 weeks is enough time to really get the true depth of a manifestation coming to light. And so we actually need to look 6 months in advance towards the full moon in Aquarius. That's actually happening on August 19th. And so if you want, mark your calendars, whatever goals you begin to set on February 9th, you can expect those goals to come to fruition, to come to manifestation around August 19th. Again, that 6 month cycle for the manifestation to come into being. So again, I know this information was a lot of Aquarius energy. If you're an Aquarius, you're probably listening to this like, oh my God, I love all this energy focusing on Aquarius. Because again, Aquarius is such a cool sign. It's different, it's innovative, it's unique. But yet it's still for the people. I love Aquarius for that reason. If you are an Aquarius and you would like an in-depth birthday reading, hit the link below. I'd love to chat with you about your solar return chart for this year. Something I didn't mention at the beginning, and I probably should be mentioning it more honestly, but I also do offer discounts. If you are an Aquarius and you want a birth chart reading, that's actually on discount as well, 30% off if it is your birthday month. So Aquarians, definitely hit the link below if you are looking to book a reading, or DM me on Instagram. There's my Instagram if you are looking to book one or gift one to somebody else. And so with that, thank you all so much for, again, continuously tuning in. If you got value from this video, please go ahead, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love to see this channel hit 100 subscribers in the next 90 days. So it's all about us working together to make that happen. If you enjoyed this forecast and you want to go ahead and reshare this link to your Instagram and tag me, as I know a lot of you are coming from my Instagram, I would love it. Of course, the support is super appreciated. So enjoy the week. Have a beautiful new moon week. And I will see you all again next Sunday.